Everything about my brother's wedding felt flawless until the third day. The sunlight poured gold across the garden. Laughter rippled through the air, and every grin looked like it had been practiced. Then my husband leaned close, his voice barely cutting through the noise. "We need to go. Now." I froze, champagne hovering near my lips. "What are you talking about?" He turned toward me slowly, his gaze fixed on the bride gliding across the dance floor. "You really didn't notice, did you?" he murmured. "She's wearing your mother's necklace, the one that vanished 2 years ago." That was the instant something inside me quietly snapped, not in fury or spectacle, but like a lock shifting open on a door I hadn't realized was closed. My brother, Armin, had always been the golden one, charismatic, driven, someone people naturally revolved around. When he brought home Zara, all bright laughter and wide eyes, I understood his pull. She was magnetic, sliding into our family as if she'd been rehearsing for the role her whole life. I adored her instantly. We grew close. Late-night talks, whispered secrets, advice about love and work. She'd clasp my hand and say, "You're the sister I never had." And I believed her. God, I believed her. But sometimes, fleetingly, I'd feel something off. The way her eyes lingered a little too long on my husband when she thought no one was watching. How her compliments to me always carried a faint sting, sugar dusted over poison. I ignored it because family mattered, because I didn't want to see what was really there. Not until the necklace. That night, after the reception, sleep wouldn't come. The image of that sapphire pendant on her neck burned behind my eyes, my mother's last gift before she died. I'd torn the house apart when it went missing. Armin had comforted me. Zara had cried with me, and now it gleamed against her throat. I told my husband to act normal. We smiled through breakfast, through photos, through every empty laugh. Then, while everyone danced, I slipped into Zara's bridal suite. Her phone was charging on the table. The screen lit up with a message. "Can't believe you pulled it off." He has no idea. The sender, Armin. The photos told the rest. Trips, texts, receipts, the stolen necklace, the shared lies, months of deceit. My brother and my best friend building their own empire of betrayal. And my husband, he'd known. He discovered it 2 weeks earlier, but hadn't told me. He wanted me to see it myself. He was right. I didn't scream. I didn't confront. I didn't delete anything. I took screenshots, copied files, sent everything to my own email. When you've been burned once, you learn to stockpile gasoline. Armin was in the middle of merging companies. Zara had just signed her name onto his property documents. The timing was flawless, almost poetic. They thought they were untouchable. I let them keep thinking that. For the rest of the weekend, I smiled, hugged her, let him toast of family, all while moving pieces they couldn't see. By Monday, every falsified document Armin had created was in his partner's inbox. Proof of fake accounts, misused funds, Zara's signature, his approval. I didn't have to destroy them. Truth did the job for me. A week later, the reckoning came. Police lights flashed outside his house. Neighbors whispered. Armin stood pale and shaking on the steps, Zara beside him, still wearing that cursed necklace. He looked at me like I was a ghost. "You did this?" he asked. I tilted my head, almost pitying. "No, Armin, you did." Zara tried to speak, but I stopped her with a glance. "I kept your secret. Remember? The sister you never had." They were still processing my words when the officers stepped forward. I didn't stay to watch. I didn't need to. A week later, I saw the necklace again, sealed inside an evidence box. When I held it, the metal felt cold, heavy, hollow, and I realized I didn't want any more. It didn't belong to the past, or my mother, or even to me. I sold it quietly, donated the money to a shelter in my mother's name. Armin's company collapsed. Zara vanished from social media. My husband and I left the city. People still whisper about that wedding. They call it the curse of perfection. But it was never a curse. It was a correction. Everything at my brother's wedding had looked perfect. Until it wasn't. And when it shattered, so did the illusion that family meant loyalty. Now, When people ask if I regret it, I just smile, because it was never about revenge. It was about closure, the kind they never imagined I'd take back.